Hey there, my name is Jason with some Stadia news about data caps. This is Inevitable Space. So a lot has been circulating across social media and news centers about Google trying to push internet service providers to increase data caps. Many of you may be wondering what that means, and with your luck, you found your way to me for an explanation. So data caps are the restrictions of incoming and outgoing data between the ISP server and your device. Data caps were made not to solve any existing issues, but to impose fees on any user for high usage of internet. Not all ISPs do this, but those who do have restrictions typically after 1 terabyte of data. Those who do not have data caps typically have unlimited access to internet servers. I myself use Charter Spectrum as my ISP and do not have any data caps, so none of this really applies to me, along with many others. Data caps are a concern of followers of the Google Stadia project because streaming at a consistent 35 megabits per second can wear away at your remaining data available. So unless Google manages compression at a level we haven't seen yet, then you can expect to stop playing Stadia after a couple days straight of gameplay. So you can find this by dividing the 1 terabyte of data by the 35 megabits per second. Just remember the difference between bytes and bits when making the calculation yourself. So 1 terabyte divided by 35 megabits per second equals 228,571 seconds, or 3,810, or 63 and a half hours. So for those of you who use the internet all the time,
obviously,
like most people, or plan on playing Stadia games all the time, which you probably will, you should make sure your ISP doesn't have any data caps. Although I myself at least don't plan on playing 64 hours of Stadia each month, I may end up reaching the terabyte of usage that wouldn't shoot down most people. When you reach the data caps, most providers will charge you for overages, like if you passed your cell phone plan limit. The charge is usually around $10 per 50 gigabyte overage. For those of you whose ISPs don't charge for overages but still have a cap, your internet will simply stop working until your cycle renews. So if you end up using the whole allotted amount of data for a month and pass your data cap, then you should probably try to play outside of your home. After all, this platform does work almost everywhere. Along with, you can also just turn the resolution down. That'll help. Phil Harrison, the head of Google Stadia project, stated in an interview with GameSpot, the ISPs have a strong history of staying ahead of consumer trends, later comparing the introduction of Stadia to music downloading and streaming, along with video downloading and streaming, adding how ISPs were able to stay ahead of this trend by raising data caps. With this, Google sounds like they, in fact, are challenging ISPs to raise caps, but even if the issue ended up coming up frequently, most probably won't experience any issues, especially since you can go anywhere with Stadia if you have a Pixel or a laptop of any kind. Phil also included this part about 5G, stating, "There is a very interesting additional dynamic happening in the internet market, which is the evolution of 5G, particularly in what's called fixed wireless, which is not necessarily running 5G on your phone, but as a way of bringing 5G into your home." It is correct to say that as this new technology becomes more relevant, like how 4G LTE took over for 3G, Stadia reaching data caps will be less of a concern along with network speed. 5G brings us high minimum speeds of 70 megabits per second, reaching up to the recorded 1.5 gigabits per second. This technology becoming hosted within the home is going to be adopted from businesses doing this now, and this will lead to the increase of data caps naturally. So even though Google has made it clear they are not challenging ISPs, they really are. The company Verizon is one of the first to start 5G and sells the Pixel products almost exclusively. Thanks, Fi. So since Verizon doesn't have data caps as an ISP, they're more likely to promote Stadia within and flock people over to Verizon, causing ISPs to entice others by raising caps. Google's also doing this by having Microsoft, Nvidia, and Sony trying to dominate cloud gaming as fast as possible and creating more demand for higher caps faster. So yes, in a way, this is naturally going to happen with cloud gaming, but hopefully sooner than later. But if you are worried, I'll leave a link in the description below for a list of ISPs and their data caps if they have any. All in all, Stadia is definitely worth the wait and will be the greatest advancement to internet technology since 5G. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, and you can ask me any questions at any time about Stadia projects there. And I'll, of course, do my best to help. Hit that bell notification down below so you can get all your updates faster, and have a swell day.
Whoopsie whoopsie, whoopsie doopsie.